I feel like sex is like so valuable to really figure out how you truly feel.
Yes.
We know what we want, okay?
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you click on that bell button for the notifications, baby. You ain't got the minerals. You ain't got the minerals. Just going to talk to you guys about Francesca and Harry, this particular scene. I want to break it down for you guys real quick. So, the thing that we see is that Harry and Francesca are sitting down talking about, he initiates a conversation to talk about sex, alright? And as he does that, they're sitting upright. I want you to just notice this. First of all, they're sitting upright, facing eyeball to eyeball. Very, very important, because obviously the conversation at this moment, we're keeping it open and keeping it honest, right? It's cooled up to that point, right? And he says about, sex is important to figure out how you feel. First of all, I want to let you know this. Sex is not important to let you know how you feel. Sex sometimes, in a lot of cases, is actually the illusion to what you really want to feel. Now, what sex does bring is a desire. And oftentimes, that wanting and a desire that we get from somebody through sex, we confuse that with actual mental stimulation or emotional care. Because some of the chemicals that are released in sex give us these feelings of serotonin, which makes us feel our well-being, dopamine, that good feeling, and then obviously, the bonding hormone of oxytocin, which makes us feel close to somebody, right? Partnering up with somebody. So sometimes those particular chemicals run in sex and actually confuse people that they actually really want sex. So when he made that point, I was like, he doesn't really know himself deeply. Sex cannot run you to the end of your relationship. Trust me, it will make you burn out very quickly. When he starts talking about this, watch Francesca's behavior. She immediately, as he begins to speak about this issue, immediately begins to move and saying, I guess.
I feel like sex is like so valuable to really figure out how you truly feel.
Yes.
Like, that I guess is a very unsure movement. Like, look, when she says I guess, it's not a confident yes. It's not a confident I agree with what you're saying. That's I guess. I'm kind of feeling. I'm not 100% either way. Do you know what I mean? I guess I'm not really sure. And then she begins to play with her hair as she begins to lie down. So then she begins to kind of stay. She comes away from the open, transparent conversation into now I'm gonna lay down. So at that point, she had lost interest in the conversation because she knew where it was going. She already could see where it's going. A lot of ladies, you know this. When a man starts talking, you see where it's going ahead of time. You know where it's heading off to. And I feel like that's what she saw. She clocked where it was going. And really, she wasn't really interested. And I'm going to say why. At another point, Francesca, her demeanor completely drops. Her head goes down, eyes down, no longer having this cute look with this smirk on her face anymore. And it's almost like she's like a kid being told off. But what she's actually showing us here is that she's up there. She knows that what he's asking, basically, what he's about to ask, is about to break the rules. Now, with Francesca, what you have to understand is she's not naturally a rule breaker, not in a social norm. Now, in psychology, we call this conformity, right? Where people begin to conform. Even when they feel it's wrong, they begin to conform to the society norms, right? And so what we see here is that Francesca is not necessarily the type in her natural state to break the rules and cause everybody else and to cause everybody to turn against her, right? She's very much aware as well, especially with her reputation within the group, that she's not the firm favourite at the moment. Right? And this was from the very jump on the very first episode. The girls immediately sussed her out, sought her out, which was with, what's her name, Chloe. Chloe was like, oh, what do you think about Francesca? She was trying to sift for information because she don't like Francesca. And I believe the reason why she don't like Francesca, because she's very beautiful. Girls seem to they're very tribalistic when it comes to these kind of things, very competitive. So, all this talk about, your sexual being, it's all rubbish. You're not really that kind of type, fam. You understand? We just sometimes promote that because we think that it gives us a sense of power. I cause guys to move. I cause guys to do these things. But when it came to this thing, she was moving kind of scared, right? Because she really didn't want to do this behavior. She really wasn't about it. And so you can see later on, even her face begins to show all this seriously. She's considering all the options.
Like I said, that it's definitely frustrating.
Well, what have we got to lose?
100K?
And she found, obviously, Francesca obviously found annoyance in the fact that she couldn't, not even found annoyance. Francesca was obviously considered all the options. You can see it on her face, right? And what I saw was a chess player's move. I'm not saying that she even forced Harry to even make this move. I'm not even saying she manipulated him. He did everything he wanted to do. But what I did see was that she wanted him to take charge. Why? Because if he takes charge, then the blame can be on him and not on her.
So, I don't know. Like, he doesn't even seem to care. He's like, I don't care anymore. Like, we should just know what you want to do. I don't know what to do. I'm really confused. Okay.
And this is very, very important because in this is a game of rule breaking. And when you're about to break rules, you have to find, if you're not a person who's used to breaking rules and taking accountability and not caring what people think, then what happens is you have to find ways to absolve yourself of the blame, right? So in a sense, what she did was that she allowed him to make the move. She said she wanted him to make, she didn't mind if he made the move, you understand? But what she was showing was, she was showing that she didn't really want to make the move through her body language. She never said it outright that she didn't want to do it. She just said, she just kind of showed it through her body language that she wasn't open to doing it. So that she can then say, oh, look, that's not how I wanted it to happen. I didn't want it to be that. When she wanted to kiss him, yes, she did. She didn't force it. He didn't force it. She didn't force it. Do you understand?
I'm not good on all the shit for this because he made that move.
And then obviously she said something which is very, very key in the scenario. She said Francesca was Francesca was annoyed that she couldn't kiss him, right? And what she didn't say is that she's not annoyed that she didn't want to jump on him and have sex. It's very key. The words are very, very important.
A little bit annoyed because all I want to do every time I look at him is kiss him and I can't kiss him.
The kissing part of things shows the intimacy that she requires, physical. When it becomes sex, when it becomes sexual acts, it becomes sexual, right? Now, this is very, very key. I think she don't mind playing the game. She don't mind playing around. She don't mind having it a bit physical. She don't mind it getting a bit sexually touchy-feely, right? Doesn't mind entering a sphere of sexual intimacy. But when it comes to actual having sex, it's a different conversation. Hence why when at the beginning of the conversation, she leaned back and said, I guess so. She's not on that per se. But in terms of kissing, she's fine with that. Because that's not a commitment per se into her body. Do you understand? It's not a commitment. And plus, women, when it comes to women and men, it's a bit different because of how we get judged. And depending on what world you come from, you know, kissing is not as bad. Kissing is a small thing. Having sex, though, can quickly get you labelled. Do you understand? Especially if you're somebody who's a socialite. You're a socialite. You agree to social norms that happen in your circles, and you want the applause and the accolades of people around you. Then having sex like that on TV, especially with a guy like this where you don't really know, it's not necessarily going to be your cup of tea.
Well, what have we got to lose?
100K?
Very, very important. Then when he says, obviously, look, what have we got to lose? She shrugs her shoulder. She's not involved. When he says, look, we've already had sex, or what have you, I mean, not even had sex, what have we got to lose? And she shrugs her shoulder. Again, she's showing this kind of, I'm not too bothered. Yeah? Because again, if she shows she's bothered, then she's a part of the rule breaking. She must then take accountability for her actions, and she must also take a full-on blame, right? But you notice that she didn't want to take on a blame, because later on, when she spoke to Haley, she said, you know, he kissed me, and he better not try, he better tell me that he kissed me. Darling, whether he kissed you or not, you were involved with the kissing. Now, I do believe you're absolutely right. He definitely kissed you. But you're acting as if you were not involved. And this is very interesting, because this is very much close to, in the Bible, Genesis, Adam behavior. When Eve eats a fruit from the tree and gives it to Adam, and Adam eats a fruit from the tree as well, he says to God, God, listen, this is not me, this is the one that you gave me. So I'm blaming her, not me. And this is very, very important, because now we see where a lack of accountability comes from. It's pride. When you have ounces of pride, we cannot take accountability for our actions because we're scared, because pride comes from a place of fear and a place of shame, which is also from the root of fear. You fear there's going to be a consequence or a judgment or a label attached to you. So what do? You shift the blame. They're both to blame, right? Him majority as well, because he made the moves and was kept on dropping bars to force.
What's that thing you said, sex?
What was I thinking?
Pretty much broken the first rule, so I can take a couple minutes of your time today.
He says, we might as well break the rest of the rules as we've broken the first one. And I'm going to give you a Bible scripture. In James 2, sorry. It says, for a person who keeps all the laws except one is guilty, as a person who has broken all of God's laws. So it's just saying here that, listen, if you break one of these laws, you are guilty as a person who breaks all of God's laws. And this is what he's using as a principle now to tell her. He's saying, listen, we've already broken one law. We will also break the rest of it. And this is why the Bible says a guilty man, and this is why when someone's guilty, they can't come before the Lord. Do you understand? Because they feel like they are rule breakers, they're criminals, and they deserve the punishment. And that's why Christ Jesus is there. Because Christ is a substitute for your particular crime that you've committed. And he's saying, listen, I've taken that on. And all you got to do now is come before the Lord and have that conversation. Say, listen, Lord, I surrender. But anyway, back to my guy. So when you see Harry saying, we've already broken one of the rules, we must also break the rest of the rules. Again, you see him applying the pressure. He's applying the pressure on, saying, listen, we've already got to this point. We must continue. You understand? Because what he wants, finally, is sex. And I'm sure she's clocking this. Does he really want her, or does he want sex? And are you giving your body over because you want sex, or you want to be desired?
Pretty much broken the first rule, so I can take a couple minutes of your time today.
A time, you know what, I want to take a bit more of your time, and basically like, let's have sex basically, right? And at this point, she's turned off again. And I think the reason why she's turned off is because it's spoken about openly. And it becomes vulgar to her when it's openly said, rather than it actually happening in the process of a situation. So let's say, for instance, we're sitting there, we're talking, and then obviously suddenly we start kissing, and then it leads into sex. That's completely different. But when someone says openly, like, yo, let's take it now, let's go and have sex, you now have to think about your actions because the person's now said it outright. You can't lie to yourself and say there's a grey area. This is what many of us do. We lie to ourselves and say there's a grey area that, oh, do you know what? I didn't know it was gonna happen. I didn't mean for it to happen. No. You saw the body language, you saw where they were moving to, you saw you moved to the bedroom, all of that kind of stuff. But because no words were said, no law was given. The reason why the law was ever given in the Bible is that it makes you aware of the sins you commit. The law is given in Christianity to let you know just how far away you are from God. Now, when a man or a woman says something, it can become kind of like law. If I say it, you become what? Aware of it. And so what happens is when he begins to say it, she becomes aware of it, and it's no longer as appealing. It's no longer as appealing. Do you understand? Because remember, her job is to break the rule, but not make herself an accomplice to breaking the rule. She has to somehow find a way to exit looking clean. And then obviously, as we continue the conversation, Francesca doesn't look happy. The suggestion that they've messed up already isn't helping her want to break the rules. When he says, obviously, look, we've already messed up already, it's not helping her to want to break the rules. You can see it in her face that she's really not committed to this.
Do the whole lot.
He just kissed me.
And like I said, she can't be because she has her objective and her goal. And so I want to leave it there because I just want to focus on that particular thing. We'll continue I'll go into detail about Francesca in another video. But just to drop this one here, Love Goals, episode part 2, body language check. Think before you do. Don't do before you think. Otherwise you'll be thinking about what you've been doing. Trust me. Alright, appreciate you. Stay locked, stay loaded. More love, baby.